I'm thrilled to introduce today's guest, an award-winning composer, flutist, and a true pioneer in the world of extended techniques, Nicole Chamberlain. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Despite the music world's hesitation to embrace recent and considerably new developments to music, your award-winning compositions featuring modern techniques have not only gained significant recognition but have become audition material at the national level. How have you successfully bridged the gap between traditional and modern composition?
I think it's using extended techniques. And using them in a manner that's accessible to a general audience.
Right.
Much like string players use different techniques like plucking and bowing, I've incorporated that in wind instruments as well to make it more part of the fabric of the composition. And so I hope that helps bridge the gap a little bit to people who've been a little bit nervous about hearing instruments not doing what they were typically built for initially.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you faced when composing this type of music?
Teaching others how to do it. That has been the biggest hurdle. It wasn't formally taught when I went through university, but it seems to be more standard now. So my job is less heavy, but teaching it and trying to explain it from paper to audio is very challenging.
Absolutely.
And so for me to get that performed correctly, not really correctly, but effectively, has been good for my teaching abilities.
Good.
I've grown as a teacher, I think, because of it. So
That's good. Without a doubt, your success at the National Flute Association's newly published music competition, alongside your co-authorship of Into the Beyond and Beatboxing and Beyond, with Dr. Mary Matthews, only solidifies your role as a pioneer of using extended techniques in your music. Could you explain to the audience that doesn't know what that is, what extended techniques are?
So, for me, extended techniques are any kind of method or technique used to produce a sound that is not what the instrument was initially intended for.
Okay.
So things like jet whistles, beatboxing, even in the string world, plucking wasn't necessarily the first thing for that instrument maybe, or the way you bow using the wood part of the bow instead of the string part, for lack of a better word. Those kind of things are extended techniques. And when I was going through school, they were called special effects.
Special effects, okay.
And then now we call them extended techniques because they're not just a one-off thing.
It's more of an academic.
Right. And Dr. Matthews and me and I are hoping that at some point they'll be considered technique. Like the string players, it's just technique.
Right.
So I hope the winds get there as well.
Right, and you're kind of pushing that with your books, right? You're making it into more of an academic technique, I suppose.
We want to make it accessible to everyone. And the problem with some of these pieces that use extended techniques is that they're aimed towards really advanced players, and it's all of it all at the same time, and it can be overwhelming.
That's true.
mean, even I've heard Claire Chase talk about, like, she'll open a new composition and just like has that moment where, like, I don't even know where to start. So even someone who is well versed in all the things has some intrepidation about tackling things. So we want to help students and professionals get some method for learning these extended techniques effectively and feel empowered to tackle these bigger pieces.
What inspired you as a composer and flutist to publish Beatboxing and Beyond? What gap did you see in the music world education that made these books essential, and why now?
So when I would, as a nobody, going to an ensemble that did not live close to me, and just the many questions I had. And so, like, the rehearsal was slowed down for them. Because they were everybody was starting from scratch, it felt like. For Dr. Matthews, seeing it in her students not have a structure to tackle these extended techniques. And she was using them, like, in the Tafano Gobert. Like, she was trying to create this other method, because she's not a composer. And I don't know anything about pedagogy. That was not my background. I didn't have education. I mean, I had education, but not that kind of education.
Of course.
And and we have a solid friendship, and we were complaining to each other. In fact, we were even given similar workshops and not really aware that we were. I was doing a beatboxing to a better Bach, and she was doing, a friend gave me that time. And then she was doing something similar with the Tafno Gobert as warm-ups and improving techniques. So we realized there just needs to be something original created, and as someone that teaches college, she needed a textbook. So it was a necessity for both of us to make my life easier as a composer and her life easier as a teacher.
Nice.
And it was fun to write, so I hope they're fun to play.
Absolutely.
You know?
Many of your compositions, if not all of them to some extent, use extended techniques. Why is this technique or this composition style important to your type of music?
For me, having more access to different colors of sound is very helpful to grow the music. I'm very reliant on instrumentation in my little bubble of composition, and so the extended techniques kind of open things up. So initially I was writing for just solo flute. That can get pretty stale for me, and so those extended techniques help broaden that and add variation. And you know, if you look at hip hop and rap and all of that, the beatboxing aspect came out of not having access to percussion when you're just trying to make up new rhymes and new pieces and stuff. And I felt like, well, I feel that way too. Like I like percussion. I don't have access to it. Is that something I can learn from?
Right.
And then also the jealousy of string players. Like they have such a wide range of what they could sound like, and I felt like flute, without having a physical mouthpiece that we had to, you know, use, we have a lot of flexibility in what we could change in our face. So I felt like we had a lot of ability to mimic that. So those two things combined taught me how to use those extended techniques as a compositional element versus a special effect.
I like that. I'm honored to be introducing one of Mrs. Chamberlain's newest pieces, ShushO'Clock, for 4 flutes, which will be premiering this year. You had complete artistic liberty when writing this piece. Could you take us through your thought process?
Yeah, when I write a piece for someone, I want to make sure it speaks to the project. And you were aiming this towards younger flutists, trying to expand the world a little bit of what was possible. And I just try to remember like what it was like for me in their shoes when I was younger. And I wanted to learn new fun things. I wanted something relatable to my life, and that's hard to get out of some of the dead composers.
There you
so
go.
I was trying to figure out what would be relatable, and I think a lot of it is finding time to do anything. As I work with my own students, they always seem so busy, and navigating that world that you're kind of told what to do all the time, and just being yourself, being your loud self, which is what I liked about flute when I was younger. Well, now too. So
You know, I was kind of introducing some of my students into extended techniques, and one of their favorite things that they enjoyed the most was just the jet whistle. They were just amazed by the ability of the flute to do that. That was one of the quickest extended techniques you could probably learn with your students and have them really engaged by making that noise.
And some of them do it by accident. They don't know that it is. I have one student now who's a senior, and he would just to warm up his instrument, he would just and do the jet whistle. And I said, no, Robert, a real thing. And he's like, what? And then as soon as I told him that was a real thing, he was off. And now he has to do this to Kelly piece, Angels of Architecture, and there's a jet whistle in it. And his band director was like, "Can you teach the rest of the flutes how to do jet whistle?"
Right up
I'm
his
like,
alley.
"That is my biggest win."
That's
like
awesome.
another
That's
student
awesome.
is teaching other
Absolutely.
students, how to do jet whistles. Yeah.
That's awesome. In your program notes, you mentioned late night jam sessions and early morning practices, kind of that inspired the ShushO'Clock.
Yeah.
Was there an experience that you had where this is like, this is the perfect thing to write about?
Yeah, I yes, because I was a busy student, when I was younger, and I hadn't made All-State, and I was determined to do it my final year, and I had college auditions.
Right.
So I had rehearsals and things and homework and study after school, so the only time was before school, and our high school started at 7:30 a.m.
Wow.
And I had to drive there. So luckily my dad was in the Army, always had to be up at like 5 a.m. or something.
Okay,
Some
so it
ridiculous
works out,
time.
it works
wasn't
out.
awful, but I still had another sister that was still living at home when I was doing this, and my mom. But I mean, they really did tolerate it because they understood what the end game was, and I was practicing at school too.
Right.
But you have to get those several hours in if you want to do the thing.
You got to build your capital.
Yeah, it doesn't just, you can't cram that. And so that's what I was doing. I was really serious about it. I mean, it helped. I got better real fast,
But it came with people shushing you all the time.
Right. And especially when you move out and you get your own apartment and like
Your neighbors.
Your neighbors are the worst.
No.
Finding when to practice and all those things. And that's mindful. That's something I have to think about when I choose where to live.
Right.
But it's something I think all of us kind of have to combat at some point, whether you're
Absolutely.
younger or older. And I just thought it was fun getting shushed in the music with the extended technique of shh, along with the whole nighttime, early morning kind of deal, like we all have to face those quiet hours. Yeah.
Throughout this piece, you use various techniques like pitch bends, key clicks, and loads of percussive sound effects. Why were these techniques instrumental, or why did you incorporate these into this composition? And do you have any tips and tricks for young flutists who are just learning about these extended techniques?
Sure. I wanted to use techniques that I felt were quick to pick up.
Right.
And for me, teaching these particular ones were really easy for a younger student to learn without feeling too silly. I know that can kind of, when kids get out of their comfort zone, any of us, it's a little scary.
Yes.
And they all know about tuning this way and that way. They've all tried it. The shushing part is pretty easy. They've all done that without flute. So those, and the key clicks, they've all done that, trying to like practice while the band director's working with another section. So I figured those would be safe bets for them, and fun, knowing that those things they've been goofing around with are real things.
Right.
And so that's the reason why I use those particular extended techniques to start with. Yeah.
Neat. And for those tips,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I've got my
Oh, yeah,
flute
you
here,
got your flute.
my wonderful baby.
Yeah.
Can you key clicks?
Key
How
clicks.
do I do them properly? Can you just
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a little.
a little tutorial?
So a little tutorial. I'm gonna use him as an example, even though I know he knows how to do all these things. So like for key clicks, it's very important that it's on your face. It's not in tune unless your flute's not in tune unless it's on your face. It makes a little difference. It's just kind of, a little trivia. And so I find it, the less fingers you move, the poppier it can be. So like if I played low C, and if I just thunked my ring finger on my left hand, is louder than trying to or
Do
cleaner. Yeah, that might be louder, but it's not as resonant as just doing one finger.
Right.
Yeah. And some of them you might have to use all fingers because there's just not a good one to use. But those are things to keep in mind.
Okay.
I think.
And what about the shushing? Because that appears almost
shushing.
everywhere.
Yeah. So shushing, what I would start with is just make sure you know how to shush. This is the silliest thing. Yeah, shuh, with the air going through your teeth.
Right.
Yeah, without your flute. And then I would keep doing it and then slowly raise your flute to your face. I call it sneaky flute.
Sneaky flute.
That way
You
you
sneaky
don't
flutist.
change your face, because flutists like to change their face. As soon as flute comes up, make flute sound, and that's what you want to try to avoid. Yeah. There you go. Good. So
Love
your
that.
flute's just an amplifier. Yeah.
For conductors, is there any specific place that they should be mindful of? Any key elements to ensure a smooth performance?
Yeah, I think the two parts I think that are important. The first one is the responses back and forth. A lot of students want to play together because we're used as flutists playing as a section, and this is growing more independence in the parts and
Right.
building that confidence that like I can play by myself and it be correct. I think that's a little unnerving to a lot of students, but it's good. It's good for them. It's your vegetables. And then the other thing is just make sure the ensemble is unified on these extended techniques. Like everybody is shushing and with a similar sound. So like when you one person shushes and the other person shushes, it's not like one is going shh and one's producing a flute tone. You know, make sure they match and that they are also starting at the same time instead of going shh. It should be shh,
Right.
like a firm big articulation in the
A
beginning.
firm parent telling their child not to practice
Right.
at
right,
6 a.m. or
exactly.
whatever time you are.
Exactly.
What do you hope performers take away from this piece? And likewise, what do you want the listeners to take away?
Well, I hope the performers learn some confidence and trying new things and some independence and have fun. It's a fun piece, I hope.
The ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal, why are you playing your flute if it doesn't give you any joy? So I hope that's part of it, and I hope it's the same for the audience, and also for the audience, the listeners, to understand that new music today sounds wildly different from composer to composer. We're living in a really exciting time where music can sound like anything. There's no rules. There's like, so coming in with open ears and just knowing that it can be very unexpected in a delightful way. And I think that's what I hear most when I go to a new music concert. They're just like, no one sounded the same. Like, yeah, that's great. I love that.
That's
yeah.
the point.
Yeah, right.
It's new.
Right.
It's new. New and exciting.
Yeah, and there's something for someone. There will be something for you on that
Exactly.
concert. And I hope this is one of those, but you know,
Yeah.
that's always the hope. Yeah.
What is one message you hope to impart to performers, flutists, and aspiring composers through your work?
Yeah, I hope it's trying new things, being adventuresome, being a little fearless, because if you don't go 100% on something, it will fall short. And collaborating, like communication between composers and musicians, like performers, I should say. Like responding to each other. Am I doing this right? How would this be better? Does this look practical? Is this problematic? You know, those kind of things, asking those questions. So it's more of a collaboration between composers and performers. That's what I enjoy. And that's what you've been really great at as a commissioner, just like communicating.
Right.
All those things. So hopefully I could deliver something that is helpful. And it doesn't just end after I write it and hand it. Like, as you get into the nitty gritty of working with the performers, that we can make sure it's making everyone feel great, look good, and sound good on both sides. Yeah.
And would you say a lot of your work is actually commissioned?
Yeah. Right now
so
it
you're
is.
doing
yeah.
constant collaboration.
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I hope I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
it's hard. It's tough in the beginning to get that feel. You want to make sure everybody feels heard, and they're, you know, that's the point of commissioning. Is getting something written specifically for your needs,
Right.
and it gives me inspiration to have like some challenges.
Makes you
that are
better.
interesting. It does, because I wouldn't think of some of this stuff. Most of the stuff I wouldn't have thought of on my own.
Right.
And so commissioners bring a whole big bunch of ideas to me that is fascinating.
Thank you for joining me today and sharing your insights on ShushO'Clock and your journey as a composer. especially right after the Florida Flute convention. That was a very busy weekend.
Yes.
For those interested, is there any way they can connect with your work? What's the best way to connect with you?
SpottedRocket.com is where I sell all my music, and you can hear all the clips. So if you're interested in the composition side, go straight there. If you're interested more in my flute side or need biography or just contact me, it's NikkiNotes.com, NIKKINOTES.com. But either way, I get all the emails. So
Nice.
it's
So
fun,
check
yeah.
that out. And is there anything exciting that we as a flute community, maybe those others,
yeah.
is there anything you're working on?
Yeah, I signed a contract with the National Flute Association.
No way.
Yeah, so the National Flute Convention's in Atlanta this year,
Yes.
which is where I live. And I am writing a big flute choir work for the opening Thursday night gala.
Nice.
And
That's
it will
exciting.
be, yeah, it is very exciting. And it's a lot of the flute choirs from Atlanta and the surrounding area will be performing it. But there's a soloist, and it's my dream soloist. Nothing to Mary Matthews, she's great. I love her. But before I knew Mary, my dream flutist and composer was Valerie Coleman, and she's gonna be the soloist.
No way.
So, and she's agreed to do it because she's a lovely person. So 20 years ago, if you told me when I was working in my little office cubicle, listening to Amani Wins, that I would get a chance to write for her, I would have said no way. But so that's my big news.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And when is it happening?
The Thursday night of the National Flute Convention in August. I don't know
okay,
what
so
the
this
date
year.
is. Yeah, this year.
All right.
So
well,
I
check
need
it
to
out.
finish it.
Check it out. NationalFluteAssociation.com, maybe. Actually, I don't know. But that's super
NFAFlute.org.
exciting.
Yeah,
NFAFlute.org.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big milestone.
It's a
no?
big one, and we've been talking for almost a year about it. And I couldn't say anything until I signed. Everybody signed,
Right,
but
right.
like it's too late now.
Wow.
They're
now the
committed.
news is out. That's awesome. Well, thank you again for taking the time out of your day to do this. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.